All right, guys, welcome to what's today? Thursday? Thursday, January 31st Zoom session. I apologize, I couldn't have a Zoom session yesterday with you guys. I had a really bad migraine. And I was talking to a couple of people before the show. It's going to be these things right here. I haven't had a new prescription in over a year, and my eyesight's been failing. And I think, well, I have an appointment at on Tuesday to get hopefully get a new prescription. When I take off my glasses, within about half an hour, my headache goes away. I put them on, and within about 20, 30 minutes, my head starts hurting again. So it has to be my glasses, nothing else. Nothing else has changed for me. I'm not sick. It's just, I think it has to do with these stupid glasses. Unfortunately, my age is starting to catch up to me. I feel like I'm 20, but my body reminds me that I'm not. So unfortunately, I just got to deal with that. But I do apologize for not being with you guys yesterday. We're going to do a two-part. So we're going to do, the first part is going to be T&A. So we're going to do all the, have a bunch of apps. I have a bunch of coins that I'm going to go over. And then we're going to do the second half. We're going to do the questions and answers from you guys. So I want to go ahead and encourage you guys to, give me your request as well. Either click on the raise hand button on the bottom of the participation box, or type in your question inside of the Zoom chat box, and I'll do my best to look at every single question before we end the show. Looking at coin market cap here, we're at $113.5 billion, and we're at $17.3 billion for the 24-hour volume. The top 10, as you can see here, we are in red in the top 10, top 11 here are in red, not by much, but nevertheless, they are in red. Leading the pack, unfortunately, is my new favorite girlfriend, Tron, and we're going to cover that one as well. I don't see anything really good for Tron coming up, and I will cover that in just a little bit. But unfortunately, like with anything that goes that far up, it's got to come down. Nothing's going to stay up forever, especially in a bear market. Looking at the best 24-hour, the best performers, I mean, not by much, just barely making it. We got BTM at 4.37%, REP at 4.36%, and VERI, Vertasium at 3.49%. So you can see it's been a really slow day when the top cryptocurrencies are in the 4%. We know it's been a very slow market today. So let's jump right into Bitcoin's 1 hour time frame. We've been inside of this, pretty much inside of this channel here. So we've been kind of maxing out at 34.47 to 34.24. So we are at $20, guys. We've been bouncing up and down $20 for quite a bit now. Let's see. Since today's the 31st, so since 2 o'clock this morning, we've just been inside of this range. The only thing I do like in the 1 hour time frame is that we're not posting a bear flag. So this pattern here going sideways, this consolidation, makes me feel much better in the 1 hour, in the shorter time frame, that we're not setting up for really an obvious fall. The MACD isn't looking all that great. This last hour, it did print this downward tick. It did have an upward tick, but with this sell-off right here that happened during this candle is what tilted this MACD from bullish to bearish. On the 4 hour, however, it isn't looking too good. Now that one is printing a little bit more of a bear flag than a sideways consolidation. So if we kind of take a look at that, I mean, it's not very a clean bear flag, but nevertheless, you've got that uptrend with very low volume coming in. And usually after a drop like this, I mean, this wasn't a very big drop. It's only what, $40, but nevertheless, this isn't a good sign to see. I would much rather have seen a little bit more of a sideways, and it could turn out that way, that it continues just to go sideways and break out of here. But technically, this is a bear flag. So it's not looking too good short term for Bitcoin. If we can drop to 3,200 and test those lows, before we get a little rush in February, that would be great. But we've been holding on very, very strong at these levels. I mean, this drop of $40, prior to that, we've been inside of this really, really tight range. And when we have fallen, we haven't fallen too much. We've been just sitting really tight. A lot of support inside of this area here. And there's also a lot of resistance over here at the $3,500 range. I think it's right here, right below this gap. There's actually a lot of resistance. If you look at the tensor charts, there's still some huge volume, suppressing, keeping that price down, either suppressing the price and putting in that pressure, or creating a little bit of buying pressure. Because remember, we need those sellers in order to bring the price up. As long as the bulls step up to the plate and they start pushing forward, there's enough liquidity there from all the big walls that we have above to kind of push the price up. So it can kind of work both ways. The last time we had this drop, it did not work in our favor. If you're waiting for it, didn't work in the bulls' favor, better said, because I don't know which camp you guys are in. But for the bulls, it didn't work out too well. We had $69 million wall right above here, and we collapsed. And I've seen it happen in reverse, where we have a huge, 10, 20, $30 million wall on top, actually a little bit big, like 30, 40 million on top, and we break right through it. And we print these big green candles because there was enough sellers to fill in the demand, so it caused the price to go up. So we can look at it kind of both ways when looking at those tensor charts. Looking at TRX, so let's study this move that TRX did. So we had the low printed right here at 0.01 cents. Boy, what I would have loved to have gone into that with that entry. I think a couple of you guys got into that into this entry. Congratulations. So we moved up. Now we maxed out right in here. But as you can see, the bears just came and took it. The next candle that opened here actually came back down to 618. So we did retrace from this move here. Looking at it closely, we did retrace here. Now we are inside of this channel. Earlier, I was having a discussion with Obi-Wan, and I was telling him that I was seeing a breakdown, but what I didn't see, Obi-Wan, is that we actually did come back here to 618 and touch it. So I don't know, to be honest with you. I mean, I know eventually we're going to come down, but I was looking at this when I had that discussion with him. I was kind of looking at it as if we hadn't come down and retraced, and that this candle was going to come down and hit the 618 level or the 786 level. But looking at this candle, we did already technically retrace. So if we were to continue to move up, we had a really nice retracement from this move. So I'm curious to see if there's any more bullish announcements, any more bullish news. We're almost in February. We've been talking about this for a couple of weeks now, and there was actually an article on CoinDesk, I believe. Even somebody posted. They posted it on Twitter, but they also posted it here on the Discord, that historically February has been a very good month for crypto. So who knows if we're going to fall out of this channel now before that happens, or if we do get that rush in February, this might continue to go up a little bit higher. And if we do, I'm looking at these levels here for our next resistance, which would put us at about close to 4 cents. So something to keep in mind, guys. I mean, we already technically we retraced to 618. We can definitely move up if it's in the cards for TRX. Looking at Bitcoin Cash ABC, this one here I've been accumulating on the way down, and I'm very eager to see what kind of move this does when Roger announces the futures contract, the date of the futures contract. So we got the announcement a few weeks back that CoinFlex, which is an exchange that Roger Ver backed along with other investors, are going to have the first Bitcoin Cash ABC futures settled in crypto, unlike CBOE that settled in fiat. Now, not only Bitcoin Cash, but also Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's going to be the first of its class. The other futures contracts that are in the market now are settled in fiat, not in crypto. So this should hopefully, depending on the volume, that Japanese exchange does, hopefully we'll see a run, a nice run on it. I'm not 100% sure, but in the event that we do, I did kind of load up, put a little bit of money on ABC. Also, there was a really good article that I read earlier. Somebody posted on Discord that Bitcoin Cash ABC had some sort of partnership with the Japanese bank. I read it brief. I just kind of skimmed through it. I'm not sure. They couldn't say too much of the details. I guess the statement from Roger Ver was that due to insider trading laws in Japan, which are very, very strict, they've been trying to crack down since 2015, that he can't really give us too much details on what's going on, but that there's a lot of bullish news to it, and he's hoping that that integration or that partnership is going to cause the price to hopefully see some run up. And there was something else at the end of the article. I forgot what it was, but it's just good news for Bitcoin Cash. Hopefully we'll see a little bit of movement on that. Bitcoin Cash SV hasn't really been doing it hasn't been that impressive. It's just been, kind of ranging here. You had a nice little pop here and slowly gave it all the way back. Had another attempt here, but it's not really doing much. Now, the indicators look good. I mean, the MACD is a little bit bearish right now, only because of the fact that we're losing this momentum here, but it doesn't look extremely bearish. There is a lot of room to the upside, same thing with the RSI. We just have no volume. If you look at here, we're just pretty much flatline for a Thursday. There isn't seem to be a lot of interest in crypto right now. And it's already but it's already about an hour and a half inside of Asia kill zone trading zone. So, they usually don't start trading till after lunch. So we have a few more hours to see which way they're really going to move the market, if they're going to move the market at all. So MTF is a shitcoin that I really thought that I would never invest in, especially with the Bitcoin pairing. But I do recall back in November when Northwest, one of our Discord members at the time, was very bullish on this coin, called it out before it broke out, and we saw he had a beautiful run to the upside. I don't know what they do, to be honest with you. I don't know any FA. I haven't even bothered to look at it. I traded it strictly on the price action and what I saw and and also the announcement that's coming up. That's having a mainnet. But what the actual project is, I have zero clue. But this is kind of the reason that I took it. I know I had somebody, Coin Cowboy, was like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you taking a trade when it's paired to Bitcoin? And this is why. So let me explain to you why I took this trade. This was the run that Northwest pretty much took a lot of you guys on. I didn't get into this. I didn't get into it in here, but I saw this run and the support. These moves to the upside, some of these moves were 30 to 70%. These were like right here, look, 72%. I was measuring a lot of these here, and I like to do that before I get into something that I don't feel comfortable with, like this one here. I tend to just start looking at some of the possibilities, some of the breakouts, like this wick here. This went 72% on one candle. Some of these went 36%, 41%. And the fact that we're having a mainnet, that's usually a time where we really see some bullish movement. So it gave me the courage to, you know what, let me give it a try. Let me see how well MFT runs. I've got some points of gaps. I have some gaps on the 12-hour time frame. So let me go to the 12-hour time frame here. And let me show you these gaps here that ran. This was back in November. So this is the price action back in November. And I was doing a lot of studying, and I was really surprised on how well this price action stopped and respected a lot of these gaps. And the reason I'm surprised is because usually coins that are traded by bots, and this is what I mean by traded by bots. Let me show you the one out. This right here. So this pattern here, this is bot trading. Usually bot trading isn't something that is your typical market movement. So when that happens, it makes it very difficult for you to really accurately use TA. So I get a little worried when I can't use my TA. But after sitting for the past couple of days, really analyzing this, I'm very surprised in how well these gaps worked out. As a matter of fact, there's one in particular I want to show you that I was very, very surprised. And this gap here, when I took the trade my first trade was at 86 cents. When I took the trade and I put the order in for 84 cents, I saw this gap. So let me show you this gap right here on the 4-hour time frame. So I saw this gap on the 4-hour time frame, but again, like I mentioned before, in the past, the bot trading doesn't normally respect gaps from the ones that I've analyzed in the past. So I put this gap line, and when I bought this at 84, I was like, you know what? What are the chances of this actually respecting the gap? Is on a 4-hour. I said, nah. You know what? I'm gonna put my order, my next order at 81 satoshis, because this retracement here kind of landed inside the 786. So I put mine at 81 satoshis, which was my last one that I did. And look at this. Sure enough, it came down here, and had I put my order at 79 satoshis, I would have gotten filled. And it's just, it's incredible. I was really, really surprised that this respected the gap the way it did. But nevertheless, that's kind of my reasoning behind this, guys. I know I always talk a lot of crap about investing in these bot coins, and I really, really do feel I don't feel as confident and as safe on this, but I'm taking a little bit of a gamble to see if it works out. If it can work out the way it did, let me show you guys something. Let me pan out a little bit. Here's some of the targets here. I don't know if I posted this or not. I've just been playing around with this chart, looking at targets. Some of these targets are in line with some of the breakouts. That's how some of these one single candle has broken out in the past with MFT. And if we can get a single candle to break out the way the other ones did, I'm pretty sure we can get some of these higher gap lines. We can very well hit all-time high. But some of these here are just, if I don't want to get too greedy, I'm hoping to get something around here. If I can get filled. If not, I'm going to play it by ear. One of the things that you want to keep in mind is this last move and this is another thing I want to touch on. The last move that we had back in November, which is this one here. This is what I want to try to catch. So I remember Northwest talking about this when this moved here. And I remember seeing it retrace all the way back. And I was thinking to myself, oh man, I really hope he sold, because this is not coming back up. And it proved me wrong, and it came back up. So I imagine that if we go to the upside, we're not going to go straight to the top. We're going to have opportunities like this to sell and rebuy back. That's very difficult because we don't know at what point. But just to give you an idea, these are 40% swings. That's a hell of a lot of money, 40% swings. So that's something that I'm going to try to catch to see if I can somehow in these higher time frames catch that. But if not, if I can just get one ride up and get 70, 80%, I'll be happy with that. But I'm sorry to take so much time with MFT. I know a lot of you guys are in it, so I wanted you guys kind of give you my explanation and my reasoning for taking that trade that I would normally not take. XLM, nice move to the upside yesterday, gave it all back. I want to show you guys, it's XRP. Let me see here. Let me reset this real quick. Yeah, no, one of these broke out and came back and retested, but it was an XLM. So here we just basically we gave it all back here. XLM, nothing too impressive. I thought that when this broke out of here, that we were going to continue to run because of this just immense downward fall that XLM has had. Look at this. This has been an incredible fall. And for something this strong, a coin this strong, this big, in such a high market cap, I really thought we were going to see a bigger bounce, but we did not. So we're just going to have to keep an eye on it and see how much lower XLM could go. So XRP here, printing a flag. So you see here on the 1 hour time frame, you have the pole of the flag. You got the flag itself. I do anticipate this is gonna break down. Does not look too good as far as a TA. If you look at the MACD, however, MACD looks great. I mean, ignore the downtick here. Look at the actual swing. This little J hook looks very bullish. This little downtick here, because it's the 1 hour time frame, it's representing this last drop here. If you look at the 4 hour time frame, this is where I think it's not. This is why I think it's going to dump. If you go to the higher time frames, the higher time frames are going to hold a little bit more weight, and the moves are much more drastic. In the higher time frame, you can see the clear bear flag, but this is what I'm mainly concerned about. Look at the oscillators here. See how they're losing the momentum, and look at the indicator here. It's coming. It looks like it's going to come down unless we get a last minute surge. I don't see this. I don't see this surviving. I think this is going to come back down, probably all the way back to this previous support if we don't get some support here soon. So unfortunately, we got rejected. Look, where did we get rejected? At the 200 EMA. 1, 2, 3, and smack down. That 200 EMA is no joke. Looking at NEO had another downward fall after this nice little upward move to the upside. Went sideways, we lost it. Had some nice gaps that printed here. So it printed this gap here and then this gap here on the 1 hour time frame. So this is a previous gap that was already filled by this move here, but I'm keeping it on here for a point of resistance in case we get this high. I want to see where it stops. So we've got some targets here for NEO, but there's really nothing, nothing too bullish on NEO. The 1 hour MACD looks okay, looks good, but the 4 hour, I don't like it. The 4 hour is barely getting a little bit of a turn here. I've got to see a little bit more move to the upside to feel a little bit better about NEO. Looking at Icon is pretty much, oh, you know what? I forgot to post this. So Icon filled the last gap. So if you guys remember my Icon gap, as a matter of fact, I'm going to do it right now because I'm going to post this. Last gap filled. Now, remember, guys, really quick, just so you guys know, I do the 12-hour time frame so that the screen could give me more real estate. But the 1 hour time frame, this has a wick. But remember, inside of this wick, there's a lot of action that happened. If we go to the 1 hour time frame, boom, right there, we filled it right here. So when you guys see me post these and you hear me saying wicks don't count, take a look at this. What is the time frame that I'm using, and what is the time frame the gap happened? And that'll give you your answer on why I'm saying that it filled, even though you see a wick. Because it filled on the hour, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to fill on the 12-hour time frame. But Icon gap chart now complete. We came all the way back down here and filled that up. I'm not saying that it cannot fall any further down, but as far as the gaps are concerned, every gap on Icon has been filled. Looking at IOTA, 40% candle. Somebody loaded up. I don't know what happened here, but man, somebody just market bought this and just shot this up and came right back down. Other than that, not much, nothing really interesting in IOTA. Nothing really going on. It's just been, let's look at the 12-hour time frame. Nothing. We had a big fall here. It just keeps on going sideways and just slowly sloping down, had a little bit of rise. Now we're sloping back down again. Nothing really interesting going on with IOTA, unless there's any news that you guys know about, but I don't know of any. QDM, same thing, not really much going on, just inside of this range. Look at this, just up and down, tight little range. If you guys feel comfortable and you guys know how to play the ranges, you guys could technically play this range here. So if you guys play this channel, you get in here to play it safe. I don't know, it's maybe 2%. Oh, no, hold on. That's going to be right there. What is that? Oh, 4%. That's a good trade, actually. 4.5%, 4.3%. So if you guys want to play this channel, this will be a safe channel to play. Buy it here, sell it here. Buy it here, sell it here. Forget about these little breakouts here. As you can see, you want to try to get as many points touching inside of a channel so you can pretty much increase the odds of your order selling. So I would actually maybe lift this up a little bit higher, just so you can see these points that touched here, and touched here. So you got 3 confirmations that at some point we came back down to this. So if you guys want to play this little range, wait till it hits here, sell it here, and it's about 4%. 4%. If you're paying 10 grand, that's $400. So that's a nice trade. That's a nice trade. I'm not saying put 10,000. I'm saying if that's your average bag, or whatever you put on there, those 4%, they definitely add up. ONT, nothing special, nothing really going on. Just a lot of downward action, sideways, then downward some more. Nothing really exciting with what was that? ONT? Yeah, ONT. BNB. Give me 1 second. BNB broke out of this channel. So this one broke out of this channel, got rejected here at the 50, was able to actually break above it, is getting rejected by the 100 MA. And now this was higher actually. Well, this is the 1 hour time frame. So this goes to show you this 3.95 is where the 200 EMA was yesterday. But now, because the price keeps on, not a lot of volume, this EMA is going to come down, and now it's at 3.14 to hit that here. So this is a little study that I was doing. I wanted to see if we could make it to the 200 and how much percentage it was going to take to hit that 200 EMA. And here you have it. With this lack of volume, I don't think I highly doubt we're going to break the 200 EMA. We're probably going to get smacked down and hopefully retest this trend line that was resistance, might become new support. So just something to keep an eye on. Link, somebody just mentioned Link. So Link has had is starting to come down. It's still very, very, very high. Link had like 700%, 600% run. So this is going to take a very long time to fill, guys. This gap chart, if I had to put a time frame, I'm going to say 2 to 4 months. 2 to 4 months to see this play out. Is it going to play out? 91% chance it is. So my money's on 91%. So I'm going to wait for this to come down, but this is going to take some time. You're going to see a lot of runs to the upside, a little bit more downside, more runs to the upside, and it's going to trickle and stair step its way down. Just the way it ran up. This didn't go straight up. This went up, went down, went up, crashed back down, had a lot of those stair stepping. Look at that. At one point, we went all the way from here, all the way down here. Excuse me. And then we continue to move up. So Link, very strong project. I will definitely load up on this but not until it comes down. All right, guys, that's going to end the first half of our Zoom session. We're going to do the second Zoom session. We'll do questions and answers, and I'll take more requests from you guys. If you guys want to go ahead and either raise your hands. Let me get Mr. Mo here as a co-host. Give me 1 second. Co-host. There we go. Hi, Mr. Mo. How you doing?
Good. What's up, guys?
Good. I got Techno who raised his hands. Let me grab his question. Hey, Techno. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good, man. Sorry about your headaches.
No, it's all right, man. By next week, I should be good.
I had a couple questions. Can you pull up Qtum?
Yeah.
Basically, I had a question on large gaps. On the 1 hour.
There we go.
Yeah, zoom in on the 1 hour. You see that really large one?
Like that? Yep.
Right no, behind it. I mean, it got filled already.
Oh, this one right here.
A massive gap, yeah.
Right.
I mean,
we have another one right here.
we
actually got a lot of them. Look at that.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask about that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, my theory was like really, really poor volume, and then it's getting hoisted up and down.
Yep.
Like Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah. A lot of these, when you see these like that, so many of them, usually it's low liquidity. So you guys got guys come in and look Look how little this volume is. These candles are here, and all of a sudden, look at this surge. So you got guys who just market buying the hell out of these, and then market selling. So this gap, if you put my cursor over here and you follow this down, look at this. You can sell. We had a sell off, so they just did a huge market buy and left this big gap here. Kind of the same thing. Look how low this volume is. A lot of this is is going to be caused usually when you have low liquidity coins. You see a lot of this too when you have the bot trading. So let me show you something. Let me show you how many gaps are in MFT. Let me show you this real quick on the 1 hour time frame. So look at this gap. Every single one of these is a gap. Kind of the same thing. Very, they have the bot trading is going to leave those gaps. But you see this a lot when you have low volume, two coins that have very low volume. You'll see, who has this too? I think OMG. Let me pull up an OMG chart because I saw this the other day with OMG too, and the same scenario. When I looked down at the volume, it just didn't have any volume, so it was really leaving gaps. Every time it moved, it left a gap. Here we go. Yeah, so check it out. Look at that. You see that? Look at that. Gaps everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. Yeah, it's just no volume. No volume. Let me pull it.
Well,
look at that.
I mean, not MFT, your new side girlfriend. Don't tell TRX.
Yeah, no kidding. My mistress of my girlfriend.
It doesn't scare you off that one, but I mean that low liquidity on like a Qtum. I mean, doesn't that scare you off trading that?
Yeah, I'm not trading that. The only reason I have the
I mean, in general. I looked at that because I took a few. I felt like a guru. I made like 3 good trades in my entire life, but I made, I got some entries Monday morning at that bottom of that dip, and then I sold that yesterday afternoon at the top before this last dip. So I felt really
it really depends on how you look at it, because you got to think about this. Okay, so let me put this into a little bit better perspective. Let me show you some of the positives. The negative on Qtum right now is the volume. Yes. But here's a couple of positives. One, if you want to day trade, you have a nice little 4% range, a really constant 4%, 3-4% range. That's a great trade. Do this a couple of times and you make 12%. Do it 3 times, you make 12% in one day. Another thing to keep in mind is I don't think one can have a lot of data here. Okay, there we go.
I was just using Qtum as an example, not like. It's not like I'm in love with it. I was just curious about those really large gaps, right?
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be trading this, when
Look at that. That's a beautiful chart. Yeah. Look at that. That's a gorgeous chart. Gorgeous. But but I see what you're saying. It's a little risky right now because there's not a lot of volume. So what happens if there's not a lot of volume? If you get into a trade, it's going to be very, very hard to get out of it, especially some of you guys who put large amounts of money. You put a large amount of money, and you can kiss this little range goodbye, because if you try to play a range, guys, with a big purse, you try to throw $40,000 at this is going to shoot right up because it's so low, the liquidity. It doesn't take much to really bring this up. So now you're stuck trying to get rid of this, and you're going to have a hard time. When you play these ranges and there's very low liquidity, you have to use small amounts of capital. Don't use big amounts of capital. Don't think, 4%, I'm going to throw 100 grand and I'm going to make $4,000. It doesn't work that way. You're not going to get $100,000 worth of sell orders to fill into buy orders to fill your sell order. So just keep that in mind. These are good to make some extra, to make a date night money. Throw $1,000 at it. Make $40, and well, $40, that's a horrible date night, but
$1,000 date night.
You know what I mean? $40
medium there.
Yeah, $40 you buy popcorn and a movie ticket nowadays.
All right, so I guess I was just curious about those nasty gaps.
Yeah, and normally I'm not going to chart when I do gap charts, and I see a chart like this. I don't do a gap chart. I'll go to the higher time frames rather than doing the 1 hour. Because there's 100 of these. You know what I mean? I'm not worried about that. I'd rather go to a larger time frame, like a 12-hour time frame, and then look for a gap like right here. Look at this gap right here. That's going to hold a little bit more weight. So that's going to hold a little bit more weight than those small little gaps.
Yeah. I was just, I mean, it was a good example because, you know, they all kind of move. I mean, against USDT, they all move the same, but I noticed those gaps. QDOM had those gaps, ICX had those gaps, and those were the weaker of the USDT pairings when we had this little move to the upside, which was, you know, all of 5%, so it wasn't that much. But all right, cool. My other question was about volume. Do you ever have actual numbers that you use for volume, or do you just kind of eyeball your little bar graph?
I kind of just eyeball the bar graph and look at the prior volume. Now, remember, guys, these volumes do change depending on the type of coin that it is. So when you look at these here, these are going to have a different value than if you're looking at Bitcoin. You know, this is going to be in relative to the price of the coin. So you look at these graphs here, and it's going to tell you, you know, kind of where the volume sits. So if you're looking at this here and you look at Bitcoin's, let me pull up Bitcoin. See, very, very different. You're not going to have 500K, 1 million Bitcoin being bought. Here you got, you know, 2,000, 986. So it's relative to the price of the coin you're looking at. So, but I don't really use numbers. Like, I don't associate the numbers, if that's what you're trying to ask me. I don't associate the numbers to the bar. I know I don't do that. I just kind of just look at the bar and I look at more momentum more than anything. So what I'm looking for is this. I'm looking, we coming from a high down to a low. We're kind of losing momentum. Kind of what the MACD tells us. It's kind of representing the same thing. So I'm looking when we're getting clusters like this of a lot of support, a lot of movement. That's what I'm looking at. When we start dying out, then I start really looking at that. So I look at more of the momentum of the volume, how it goes up, and then when it comes back down.
All right, cool. Thank you. I do the same. I just, you know, everybody wants to quantify everything. You make an easy button, right? So,
yes.
You know, if you're a baseball player and you hit 300, you're good.
Yes, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
I don't want to learn a good batting average for every single shitcoin.
Yep. No. It'll drive you crazy.
Yeah.
Too much information.
Cool. All right. Well, that was it for me.
All right, brother.
Yaz wants to see ETH. I'm looking in the chat.
Oh, okay. I got one more raised hand, Joe, and then after I get to him, I'll look at the chat box right now. Thank you, Techno. Appreciate it. Let me get Joe in here. Hey, Joe, how you doing?
Hey, good. How you doing, BC?
Good. How can I help you?
Did I miss Ethereum?
No, I just didn't. I don't have a chart for Ethereum. Hold on, I'm awful, man. Ethereum was my girlfriend, and TRX came, and I forgot all about ETH. Give me a second.
I used to like Tron a lot, but since it pumped so hard recently, I'm worried to get into it because I feel like there's a lot of downside it could go.
Yeah. I'm not in it either. It's gone too much. But if you look at my sweet gap chart on TRX, that's what I'm going to go. It's going to go back down to a penny. I'm sure of it. And when it goes back down to a penny, that's when I'm really going to load up on.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, so Ether I'm looking at from the last, the most recent dip all the way down to 80 something and then back up high. We're sitting in like the golden pocket, right around the 0.65 area. And that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. The volume's kind of is not great.
Yeah, we're kind of.
But the MACD looked like it was going to be ticking up, and just being where it's at. And then even outside of the on the 4-hour chart is what I was looking at for the 0.65 Fibonacci levels. But on the 1-hour chart, it's kind of its own little channel right now. It's been in, and it's at the bottom of that channel. Okay. Yeah, like right there where you're looking at. That's the channel that it's. What is that? The 1 hour.
Let me put the fib on here real quick. All right, guys. I just want to kind of touch on something, Joe. Are you looking at my screen, Joe?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know why I didn't put the Fibonacci here and I put it here instead of here?
Is it just because it's the highest one? I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly right. Because it's the highest, and also this isn't a real correction. So the fact that it went up and it kind of just tapered down just a little bit and it continued to go up, to me, this is part of one movement. So that's why I didn't put it here. And the reason I just want to point that out, for sometimes people will ask me, well, how come you're not, they get confused on where to put it. And because it didn't get a proper retracement, I'm putting here. Now this made a beautiful retracement to 786. The 786, and yes, it's inside of this channel, but it's a little too early. Well, I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
See, and I'm looking a little bit.
12 hours.
I'm looking more broader than that. So, like from the far left of your screen and over, I'm looking at that whole channel right there.
This whole channel right here.
Yeah, that whole channel is what I'm looking at, and the bottom of this channel is the 618, the 65.
So the previous resistance is now the new support. So
yeah, so like from when it was $80 all the way up to $160 just recently, where we're at now is the 65% from that.
Yep.
On the main, like the bigger zoomed out time frame.
Let's look at this here. Okay, so now we're now so now the old prior resistance is now the new support. I see that now. Yep, you're absolutely right. So let me put the new ceiling here. New ceiling here, and I want to turn this one into green, since now this is our new support turned resistance. That's kind of where we're at right now. That's kind of now the 1 and 4 hour time frames don't look very good as far as the MACD is, but the 12 hour is a little bit more encouraging. On the 12 hour, we're starting to have a bullish crossing here. So I feel a little bit better looking at this here. Now, keep in mind that if Bitcoin decides to drop, give us a drop to 3,200. Now, there's really no indication that it's going to do that. It's been holding on this level for quite a while. But if it does drop to 3,200, we are almost positive coming back down to the $80 level on Ethereum.
Yeah, I got a pretty tight stop on it right now. I'm in at like 106. 106.
Okay. Oh yeah, you're cutting.
I played it yesterday from 105 up to 110. I saw it right at the top there.
Okay, good.
And then I was looking at this retracement, and kind of like what you're showing, that it landed on that support there. I'm kind of just banking on that being a strong support and
you know what?
Running up from there.
If we do a fib study on here, because if you look at it, Ethereum actually has been going on a move up here. I mean, this is a 12-hour time frame, so we got 1, 2, 3 days of upside. So really, on the broader zoomed out, we actually have more to go down. We have a little bit more to go down on the 1 hour time frame. It's going to show us, more of the short term, but long term, looking at the 12-hour time frame, I think we have a little bit more downside on Ethereum, possibly back into here, into 618, looking at the 12-hour time frame. So it's not looking too good for Ethereum. Maybe short term, you might get a couple of bounces here and there on the short term scale, but as far as the 12-hour time frame, I don't like it. You can see we had 3 days of going up. We've only had 1.5 days actually 1 day going down, because this candle just opened 50 minutes ago.
Right.
So be careful with this trade. If you have your stop, are you in profit in the stop, or you have a stop loss?
It's a stop loss, but I'm keeping it tight. It's only like it's just less than 2%, and I'm not doing a big run on it, but
okay. Yeah, you might see a little short-term bounce. A short-term bounce, you might want to move up your stop, because looking at the zoomed out, I think we're going to come down a little bit. Looking at the 1 hour, we might get a little bit of a bounce.
All right, cool. Thanks.
You got it, Joe. Let me go into the participation box. Okay, you've got no more raised hands. Let me look at the chat box now. All right, let me just scroll up to the top, guys. Okay, what's up, Marcos? No app that'll be coming. Okay, so that's for Trading Room. We were talking about that earlier. For you guys who just came in, we were talking about the app for that Trading Room is going to put out, and the announcement he made. Can you post link on gap charts? Yes, Rick, iPhone. I have a link gap chart. It's in the Discord under gap charts. On the left-hand side of the Discord, you'll see the gap chart for link. What does MFT stand for? I like that, Obi-Wan. I like that. Ryan, Ion, please. Yeah, sure. I haven't seen that, and I haven't seen the request for Ion in a long time. Let's see here. So let's look at the one. You know what? Let me clear this screen for a little bit here. Let me look at the. Woof, yeah, nothing going for Ion. Nada, 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 nada. Just a lot of flatland, man. This looks like Tennessee. This looks like the back countries of the USA. Just a lot of flatlands. Ain't nothing inside. Look at that MACD. Man, if this was a heart monitor, I'd be freaking out. Ain't nothing going on. Let me look at short term. Yeah, just a lot of downfall. Nothing good to tell you, my man. I don't know who requested this. Let me look at the chat box. Ryan, nothing, my man. Nothing. If you're looking for an entry, I would wait a little bit longer. There ain't nothing pretty in this chart, short or long term, or zoomed out. Looks very good. I would wait. The long term, though, the zoomed out, the 1 day doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look good either. We can definitely fall down some more. So I would patiently wait till we start maybe breaking some of the higher time frame EMAs. If you're looking to take a position, this is what I would do. Take a position. Look at the EMA that has the highest EMAs with the rejections. That's the 50 EMA. See this white line? That's the 50. Every time it hits the 50, it breaks right back down. So if you want a bullish confirmation, break above the 50 and close above the 50 on the 1 day time frame. It has not been able to do that for a very, very long time. So the last time it broke and stayed above it was back here in May of last year. So almost a year ago. So if you're looking for a position on Ion, wait for a break above the 50 if you want a good confirmation. That would be my advice. Unless you want to play the range. BC, sorry. Did you already do? Okay, we just did ETH, so I assume that you just saw that, Yaz. Thanks, BC, you got it. Gap chart already for donuts. Yes, there is a gap chart for TRX inside of the Discord under gap charts. I'm pretty sure. I'm 99% positive there's a gap chart in there for TRX. There's not one there for OMG, I don't think. There might be. I went through the top 32 coins is, I have gap charts for the top 32 coins. And there was only one that had no gaps. I forgot which one it was. There was only one that was already bottomed out and there was nothing else. I can't remember which one it was. But all right, guys, I don't have any more questions, no more raised hands. Crypto Siraj, do you give any prominence to the monthly close? Let's talk about that. We were talking about this earlier with Starbucks PGA. We're having a discussion. Somebody posted the monthly chart, and he said that it looks like it has a big bear flag, and there isn't a bear flag on the month, but I mean, it doesn't. It looks. I mean, there's nothing really nice about it. This definitely is not a bear flag. It's going the opposite way of a bear flag. This is more reminiscent to me of an ascending wedge. So where you have a pole, then you have price action coming down and getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And you guys pretty much know how an ascending wedge plays out. It breaks to the upside. I'm not saying it's going to break to the upside, but this gives me more of a reminiscent feeling of a descending wedge. Did I say ascending wedge? I'm sorry, I meant descending wedge. Of a descending wedge, not ascending. Ascending would be the opposite. This gives me a more reminiscent feeling of a descending wedge that tends to break up, because an ascending wedge tends to break down. So if anything, I would not call it a bear flag, but this monthly isn't. I mean, there's like nothing there. It's like one sliver of bread. I really don't have anything real to say about this other than historically, we've never had 6 monthly red candles. The most that we've ever had for Bitcoin is, if I'm not mistaken, it's 4 red candles, but never 6. So we're breaking new records as far as how many monthly candles we've had in the bear. We've broken records as how many days we've been in a bear market. I think we already hit the 402 days, if I'm not mistaken, or if we're not, we're about to break it any day now. So again, not to bring people's hopes up, guys, but just plain looking at it from the bulls. If and I am a bull, so looking at it my way as a bull, if I'm expecting a move in February because of the Lunar New Year, and I do believe in it, and I do believe in it only because the data supports it. Based on the data, it supports the Lunar New Year. We're right at that cusp. I mean, the last bear market lasted 402 days, and we are right there. I think we're at 402, if not give or take a day. So everything kind of lines up. It's almost like it was planned just right. And if everything is planned just right, I think we're going to see. I'm in the camp that we're going to see a run to the upside in February. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But everything kind of lines up too perfectly. What is your take, Mr. Mo?
Same thing.
Same thing, right? Everything's kind of leading up to that.
February, historically, we do see a better performance in the market. We had, looking at the monthly, when it looks very bad and gloomy, and I always say that one of the best indicators that I like to use is you just go on to CT for 5 minutes, and if people are super, super salty and crying, that to me has been the number one indicator.
Yep.
So look, everybody wants to catch the dip. Everyone wants to catch the bottom. And you could play that game, but I think right now, BTC ranging in the 3,500 with an all-time high of 20K. We're going to look back. I was looking back at a journal earlier today, and I was thinking to myself, I remember buying BTC at 300, and I remember thinking, should I buy more? And it's almost the same thing now. So at 3,500, that the 3 was the reminder of like, man, should we be buying more? And I can't help when we look at everything that's going on. I think the narrative has been this: the action has moved to the OTC markets, and then the retail side has been kind of flat. And I think we kind of see that also when we look at heat maps. And we can look at the order size, and I can't help but to see big bags get filled. And so right now it's accumulate. Everything that I'm looking at in terms of assets has really retraced a minimum 80%. So these are all good things. I think things were completely overpriced, and I see them now falling back into value. The only thing is that when they go back into value, a lot of the volume disappears. It moves sideways. It looks like nothing is going on. But if you understand the asset and you're following the narrative and you are understanding the price action of it, and you think that it's a good project and it's something that can come to market and provide a solution to a problem, that's great. But right now, I mean, I always say it, bullish at 3,000, 3,500. Come when we see this thing go up, no doubt people will completely be chasing this thing, or they'll be in disbelief. It's always the disbelief first. No, I don't believe it. It's fake. It's this. It's that.
I'm going to wait for that retracement. Yeah. That was a main comment on Twitter when we were going up to 20,000. Oh, no, this is too much. This has gone up 100%. This has got to come down. Got to come down. And guys that were talking about that got to come down at 7,000. They were buying it at 14,000, 15,000. And it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again.
Yeah. So I think I'm not one to like call bottoms or anything like that. I just kind of just read the market as it is. If at the end of the day, if a setup is there, then it's something that we're going to look at and take it. I think the wind has been more on the alts. Everything like TRX has been pretty impressive during this bear market. I do have a little bit of an kind of like I've been playing around, like looking at the VIX. If you look at the VIX right now, it's almost on the floor. So there's no real volatility in the market right now. And that's something that's what made the market attractive to begin with, the volatility. So when the volatility disappears, things move sideways. It's not really, there's not much going on. You have to be, it's not like the good old days where you can log on to like an old exchange like Poly and see all these green candles going. Remember those days?
Yeah.
But I'm bullish. I'm bullish. I think the smart money right now is accumulating, and they're going to keep doing it. From what I hear on OTC, it's and friends in it, that's where the party's at right now. So as long as we're moving in this direction, it's going to be accumulating. Even if we go down, another $500, okay, that's fine. But February, I think we get a nice move in February.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for being part of the show today. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow, and you guys trade safe. We'll keep in touch with you guys via Discord. You guys have a wonderful night. Talk to you later, Mr. Mo.
Take care, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.